cost. That means your y value will be cost. Years will be your x. One thing you might want to do so you don't do what I just did earlier is write down x first and then y, and then it'll hopefully help you out. So in 1990 it was 15, and then in 2012 it was 35. Remember, the first thing you always want to do is to find the slope. So you're taking your 35 minus 15, and then you do your x's. 2012 minus 1990. All right. Once we have that, you can say that it is 20 over 22. If you have a story problem and you're going to predict, you might as well put it into a decimal on your slope. If you're going to be graphing stuff, you'll want to keep your slope in a fraction. But since I'm going to be predicting with it, you can either you can reduce it, you can do it to 10, 11, or you can put it as a decimal. It doesn't really quite matter as far as that goes because you're using it to predict. Then you want to do your y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So you have y minus 15 is equal to slope of 10, 11, x minus your 1990. Now, since I know that I'm going to be using it to predict a cost, I can go through, yes, and go in and distribute and bring that 15 over, or I simply can put that in right away for my x. So I'm going to say y is equal to 10 over 11, and then put 20 minus 1990, and then plus 15, because to get this to the other side I have to add 15. Then you can simply throw this whole thing into your calculator to save you time. So put it in your calculator and make sure that you get 4227. Now, if you went and distribute it, you'd still put it in for your x, and you should still get 4227. But to save you some time, you can leave it like this. All right, questions on that? All right, 21 and 22. So we'll go to 21 first. I also, while you guys were at lunch, I videotaped 29 again, 30 and 31, and I will have those posted on YouTube later today, just so you know if you needed to see those. So 21 and 22. So 21 says that we are going to be finding an equation for each of the lines, and we're finding a line parallel to this that goes through this point. So what's my first step? What do I have to do first when I am given a point and a line and I want to find the parallel line? What do I have to do? Get y by itself. So I'm going to get this, I'm going to get y by itself. So I have 5y. Negative 3x to take to the other side. What do I have to do? Add it. So that's going to equal 3x minus 10. Anybody question on what I did? All I did is add 3x to both sides. Then I'm going to simply divide by 5 all the way through. So I have y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2. So what is my slope on this? 3/5. What is my parallel slope? It is 3/5. Remember, one thing you might want to do is remember that parallel is same slope. Then what you want to do is you want to take in, go y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So it says y minus 10 is equal to 3/5 x minus my negative 2. And negative is a positive. I have to distribute this. So I have y is equal to 3/5 times x is 3/5 x. 3/5 times 2 is 6/5. And then we have, or you can put it into decimal at that point too. And then to get 10 on the other side, I have to add 10 to both sides. So plus 10. Cleaning it up, y is equal to 3/5 x plus, throwing this into your calculator, you should get 11.2. Anybody else verify that? Yep. Okay. Questions on 21? All right, 22. It says it's through a point that's perpendicular to this line. So what's the first step? Get y by itself. I will tell you tomorrow, I will give you guys points for doing the steps. So if you get messed up, make sure you're still working it through the best of your ability. So get y by itself. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. So we have y is equal to 4/3 x minus 2. Then take the slope out of here. What is the slope of this? 4/3. What's the perpendicular? -3/4. And then John, what's my next step? Right here. I just found my slope, and now I have my slope and a point. How am I going to find the equation? So y minus -12, so that's going to be plus 12, is equal to -3/4 times x. Very good. And then from there, we want to simplify it. So to simplify it, what do we got to do? Distribute. So we distribute. So we have y is equal to -3/4 x. Negative is a positive. 3/4 times my 6. What? Actually. Oh, so anyway, so what you do is you go, and since we can have this as our x-intercept, you can definitely keep it into a decimal. So really, you could go negative, let me clear this. So you can go -3 divided by 4 times your -6. And you definitely can do that on your intercept. So that would be plus 4.5. Now if you have this calculator, the nice thing about this calculator, you can go math fraction and it'll put it to the 9/2. But 4/5 is fine. And then how do I get 12 onto the other side? Minus it. Yep, so I'm going to minus 12. So I'm going to minus 12. And the final answer then is y is equal to a -3/4. And then you have 4.5 minus 12 is negative, whoops, my x, negative 7.5. All right, questions on 22? 27. As soon as you guys see x squared, what do you need to think of? A parabola, a u. So hopefully that helps you. Anytime you see x squared, make sure you think of a u. once you think of that, then you can do an XY chart. Right? So pick points that are on both sides, positive and negative. Alright, so we have here, I'm going to pick the point 0, -1, and 1. And then I have to make sure that I'm getting the u, because if I'm not getting the u, I have to pick more points. So 0 times anything is 0, -3 gives me a -3. -1, so -1 is 2 times -1 squared -3. -1 squared is 1 times 2, 2, and then so we have -3 gives me a -1. And then 1, so we also getting a negative, because we have 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2 -3 is also -1. Anybody not know how I got these points or how I'm getting the numbers? Alright, so you plot those. 0, -3. 1, 2, 3. -1, -1. And then 1, -1. Since I can see my u, that's all I have to do. If I only could see half of it, you better pick more points. Try to pick the points, like if this was only there, if you only have this, pick points that are your x values are over here, your negative x values. So now that I see it, I connect my dots, and I get my parabola. How many of you have a graphing calculator like this? Now, the nice thing about this is if you push y equals, let me shut my plots off for a second. We're going to get on that one. Shut it off. Oh, is that better? Alright, if you push y equals and you put 2x, your x's are this, squared, -3, and I'm going to make my window standard. Zoom standard always, zoom 6. It's going to plot what it's going to look like. So if you go at like the absolute value one, you go y equals negative under math numbers, so math number, so you hit this key, that's where your absolute value is. So you go absolute value of x plus 1, end of that. You can graph it, and it will give you what it will look like. Alright. Alright. I know did anybody have questions about 35 or 35, because I think that's all my numbers, right? So I did all the ones that you guys had problems with, or questions about. On 35, the biggest thing is whatever when you plotted your point, as long as you use these ones, and I'm going to show you how the computer does it in a second, but if you use these points and you get the best of your ability, you can use any of them that are the closest or on the line. And when you predict it, you should have got really close to 91.5. Alright, it's the same thing. So what I did literally is I actually just picked the first 2 points on the way to my mom's house. I didn't even graph it yet. And I did it out. And then I did it on the calculator, and the calculator did it, and they got the exact same as me. So they got a different equation, but remember, your equation can vary. All right. No other questions that you guys have? If I were to YouTube any other questions, any other numbers on this, is there any that you would be wanting to see? No? Okay. One thing I want to do, since I still have time, one thing I want to do is if you have this calculator, cool thing about this is you can actually do this thing called stats. You push that button right there. Let's see. Nope, it's list, second list, sorry. And I'm going to reset. Nope, just a second. Let me get out of here. Second quit. Second list. Stats. Now that I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm not going to be able to do it. When you're watching me, I can't do it. Nope. Oh, there it is. There it is. I guess it's just stats itself. So I'll get out of it. So if you just push your stat button and it says edit, so you push your stat button and you said edit, you can actually put in, so I put in my numbers, 5, 15, 25, 30, 32. Miss Ariel. Okay, thanks. Bye. You can put in your list, and then the nice thing is you can actually have them graph it. The only thing is you need to know what to step your window to, and that's why my window was out. So really quickly I'm going to say 0, I'm going to start at 0 and 40. Oops. And then I'm going to step by 5s. Whoops. Just a second. Get rid of that. Now that I can't do it. Alright, so 0 to 40, step by 5s, and then 0 to 200, and I'm going to step by 10s. Oh, my plots aren't on. And turn my plots on. So it will actually draw them for you, and you can actually find out, it can find out your line of regression right on there to find it. But you can play around with that if you're interested. I can show you guys more. So, all right.